Hey guys, this is the third video of my tank side talk. I figured I want to cover a topic that's been going along big time on the forums, and it's sumps. Now, everyone has their own design of how they're going to do their sumps. Some don't use sumps, some use really elaborate sumps, some use big sumps. Some people have refugiums, some people have bare bone, each their own. Like I always say, I'm not an expert, but the way I look at it is your fish and your coral are doing healthy and you're doing something right. So, but again, let me go back into what I talk about with my tank side talks. These are things that work for me. As I said, I'm no expert. I just can tell you what works for me. Now, give you a little history of my tank. If you don't know, is I got a 54-gallon corner tank. So they're really nice tanks. The space savers are great with them. They don't take up much room. I've seen some 90-gallon corner ones out there that look gorgeous. So definitely the corner tanks are nice, but the main drawback is sand. You're very limited on room in there. I live in an apartment, so I can't drill down to a basement and put my equipment down there, so I'm really limited to what I have here. So let me go through show you guys my sump design, tell you why I did it the way I did it, and you know, let me know what you think. Like I said, I don't run a refugium. I know people who do. I'm just going to explain what I do, why I do it, and why it works for me. So bear with me guys, let me take you in. So first, before we even get into the sump, this is my overflow back here. And what I do, let's see if I can get this off nicely, is down here I have a sponge pad and another filter pad right going to overflow. For one, it helps keep it quiet, so there's a little less noise. Two, I'll fix that later. Two, it polishes the water before really entering my sump, so just another form of filtration. So like I said, I have those pads there, and then it goes into my drain, which is the gray hose. I know this hose really shouldn't be bent like it is. Kind of wish it was a shorter hose, but that was what I was given. And then I have the E-Shop 75. I think this is like the second generation. Their newer one looks a little better, but this is the sump I have. So basically the drain goes right into the bulkhead. It was just supposed to be a bulkhead going right into the filter sock, but the water was splashing like crazy. So I saw a little trick where people took a PCC pipe, put it in the bulkhead, and extended the line. So that's what I did, and it works great. The water's not splashing, it's not as loud. So I then go right into my filter sock. Then I have my GFO and carbon reactor hose and my auto top off hose going to the filter sock. So back here, let's see if I can show you guys. Here's my pump for my reactor with the little ball valve for the throttle control to make sure the GFO is not going too crazy. As you can see, I have nothing on the bottom in the main chamber except for my heater and now my skimmer. This is a brand new skimmer. It's a Reef Octopus 110 SSS model. It's a Space Saver 1. So I'm still kind of breaking it in. I don't have much review on it, but I can already see it's getting pretty dark skim in there, and this has only been running for less than 24 hours. but not much going on there in the collection cup. So that fills up, goes over the sponge here. So sponge I'll clean maybe every other week, or actually every other month or so. I'll clean that out. Now this is something I added. I'm not sure if it's beneficial or just a waste, but I created this little basket and took these bio pellets and put it in there. Try to add a little more beneficial bacterial in my sump. And then I have my Rio return line that goes right back up there. As you can see back here, I have my sensor for my ATO. So that keeps the water level for my pump at purpose level, so the pump doesn't run dry. Here's my surge protector. I did want to mount it up there, but I had a hard time getting that to in that location. Like I said, as you can see, guys, it's very cramped in here. So I kind of have it dangling there. It's off the ground, so any floods really doesn't happen. There's a gap between the sump and the surge protector, so I'm doing all right there. One thing I did add was this LED disc light, so that allows me to have light underneath my sump when I'm working. As you can see, like I said, I don't run any refugium or anything, so I don't need a light on here to grow algae or anything. Now, I didn't want to have to keep unplugging and plugging the light in, so I actually picked up a little wireless switch for it. I'll go in there and explain that a little more. So, wireless switch, it turns on the light, turns it off. So over here on my stand, I have my controllers. Here's my J-Bose RWs, the RW8 and the RW4 controller. There's my Kessel controller. Here's my UPS, it's a battery backup for my tank. I get about 90 minutes of runtime on the J-Bose. So when the power goes out, my power heads to run for about 90 minutes before I lose complete power. Now, knock on wood, I don't lose power too often. That little brick there, that's the wireless adapter for the light. So the light plugs in there, and that turns it on and off with the switch I have. This timer is for my Kessel's A150 deep blue, ocean blue lights, because the Spectrum controller doesn't work on those. So I have a timer that turns them on and off at certain times. Reactors. I do have a GFO reactor, and that pumps also into active carbon reactor. So those are my reactors. As you can see, because I didn't have room in my sump, I had to mount them on the outside. I got the GFO after I had a really big outbreak of algae, and a lot of people say this helps out, so I have to admit it does. When I ran out of GFO medium, I was like, let me try to see if it doesn't, and I started to get an outbreak again. So I got the GFO back in there and trying to clean up before it breaks out again. There's my JBJ ATO sensor or controller, however you guys want to call it, that mounts it right to my stand there. And then my 5-gallon bucket of RO water, not salt water, just RO water. So pumps it up and into the sump when the sensor turns on. Now I've seen people who only run the one sensor on the ATO. I actually run both because I want to make sure my reservoir always has water in it, so when it gets too low, the sensor lets me know. I get about maybe 2 weeks at the 5-gallon bucket, maybe a little longer depending if I'm doing anything to my tank. So guys, let me bring this back here. Hold on.
Hi, Daddy. There's plant in the back.
Yeah.
And that means I need to go under here.
So guys, that wraps up my video on sumps. I really hope this information is beneficial to some of you guys out there. Like I said, that's just the way I do my sump. It's very basic design. I'm not doing anything crazy. I don't need big power heads throwing water up from the basement to my tank. Maybe when I get a house and I get a basement, my sump will change. But for time being, that's how I run mine. So guys, really, whatever works for you works. Just make sure your fish and your coral are happy. That's really the key in this hobby. And then just trying to find that balance to make them happy, let them grow, and bring the colors out. So hopefully this sump video is beneficial to some of you guys. Like I said, I know on the Farm Boy Reef Club on Facebook, there's been a lot of questions. There's a couple other clubs I belong to where a lot of people are posting how to do set up their sump and stuff. When I was new to the hobby, people were like, "Oh, you need a sump setup," and I was like, "I never set up a sump. How do you go about doing something like that?" So I do research on my own and kind of trial and error. So I really kind of hope this video helped some of you guys out there who might have been in my shoes when you're beginning. So guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thank you.